Hello, my fellow light workers and star seeds, travelers of time and space. Welcome to our channel. This is Lunar Goddess Tarot. I am a star seed. I'm a channeler and intuitive myself, and I happen to be a twin flame. And this is a channel to assist you on your ascension journey, whether you're a twin flame, a star seed, a light worker, and to provide guidance, to provide calm in the storm, and to provide clarity and hope. I know many of you are feeling very discouraged and not necessarily hopeless, but you're just feeling like you lack faith. Faith in the journey, faith in the concept of twin flames. If you do believe in the concept, lacking faith in your counterpart, lacking faith that this will ever come together. And many of you are also feeling angry. So what I want to make really clear is that this journey was a journey chosen by your soul. You and your counterpart, if you are a true twin flame, you and your counterpart share the same soul. It's one soul, two bodies. Soulmates and kindreds, two souls, two bodies. Karmic relationships don't have an actual connection at the heart level. If you guys are interested, you want more, you need more answers, you want clarity, go ahead and book a twin flame check, book a discovery call, which is a 20-minute call with a mini healing with Holly and myself, or go ahead and book the longer 40-minute flame call, which is a longer healing in twice the amount of time. If you need clarity and you need space and you need to understand what's happening with my abundance, what's happening with my joy, what are these ascension symptoms, what does this mean? Also, many of you are having Kundalini awakenings, and you need to understand what's happening because it can make you feel like you're going crazy. This is why we say the masculines struggle on this journey, because as they awaken and they have those Kundalini activations, they can feel like they're actually going insane. So we're here to provide, we're here to serve, we're here to assist and guide you. That being said, we are almost ready to launch the spring 2022 group transformational program. I also want to make clear, that this isn't just for twin flames. This is for people who are in soulmate connections or kindred spirit connections, think they've met their twin flame, or just want to come into inner union. This is going to be a 4-month journey where you not only have access to Holly and myself, two seasoned coaches and healers, but you also have access to other people who are on the same journey, going through very similar, if not the same things at the same times. So there's a private group that you're a part of, a private social group. It's not Facebook, by the way. It's much more secure platform. There's 8 calls, so 8 calls total throughout the 4 months. They will be recorded if you can't make the calls. There's workbooks. There's going to be 3 separate workbooks at a minimum, and much more. So we want to just really ground the idea that this isn't just about coming into physical union with your counterpart. This is about creating that abundance. That abundance pathway is open now. How do you create that abundance? How do you step into your gifts? How do you step into your power? So that's what we're going to be working on over these next 4 months. Really super excited to be working with you guys. If you're on the fence, which I know many people have emailed me, I'm on the fence, Sarah. I need this program. I need clarity. I need answers. I need support, but I feel like I feel resistance. So I want you guys to really tap into your hearts and tap into that resistance. But if you feel like you could get more clarity from a call, we can try to get you in as soon as possible. So reach out for that, and you can check out the website for all those details. I also want to just mention very quickly, and then we're going to get right into the reading, guys, that I am working with, and I am sponsored by this wonderful, amazing company. Now, if you've never heard of shilajit, it's a raw substance. It's a tar-like substance. It's thick. It's earthy, okay? I prefer the honey sticks. The honey sticks are just more palatable, but if you're really hardcore, they also have just this natural shilajit, and this is going to be, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. This is for my hardcore health enthusiasts who are like, I don't care if you can see, it's a tar-like substance, kind of like molasses. You could put this into coffee, put this into hot water or tea. You're gonna put a little bit at a time, and it's very high in ionic trace minerals, especially humic acid and fulvic acid. It's high in antioxidants, and it's going to assist you with the fatigue that you encounter on this journey, the mental concentration, the focus, if you're feeling like brain farts or brain fog, or what I've termed spiritual amnesia, spiritual dementia. This is going to assist you with that. And let me just show you what these look like. So these are just the honey sticks. You can see it's dark in color. So it is honey and shilajit mixed together. It's raw honey. You will notice the difference, especially if you consume it every single day. So I'm going to drop my coupon code below. It's Lunar10 for 10% off any items. And you can go to nutrahoney.com. And the other website is naturalshilajit.com. And I'm going to have that below. I'll have my link below, so you don't have to worry about how to spell it, but it's right there. Naturalshilajit.com or nutrahoney.com. And you can use my code, and that is going to get you 10% off of any of the products that you wish to try. I personally would start with the honey sticks, but some of you, again, are hardcore and are like, I'm going to go right into it. I've done my research. So check out the different products that they have. Check out the company, because they're very transparent when it comes to the testing that they do. So it's one of the reasons I decided to work with them. So all of that being said, guys, we're going to get right into the reading now, because I know that's what you guys are here for. So I've been called to work with some of the decks that I use in my North Node readings with clients. I do have the North Node readings open, by the way. They're 75-minute phone calls with me. So it's an astrology reading going into your personal North and South Node, which is points of karmic astrology. It's basically, they're points of soul magnetism. And the twin flame readings are closed at this time. They consumed a lot of energy from me, so I need to just take a break from those. But the North Node readings are open. And if you want to book that, you can go onto my website and then go onto the readings portion of the website. And you will get so much information, guys. They're really my favorite to do. They're really, really fun for me to do, but it's very informational. So we're going to go into your gifts, the gifts that you've brought into this lifetime, the karma that you brought into this lifetime, as well as where you've been in past lifetimes and where you're headed in this lifetime. And basically, it's going to help you understand, what is my path, what is my mission, what is my purpose. And this is your soul's purpose. This is what you've agreed to do and what you've agreed to come to do in this lifetime. So you'll find out why there's resistance in certain areas and how to break through that. So very transformational readings. And I'm looking forward to working with you guys on those. And plus, it's all about you. It's all about you. We're not really going to talk about the counterpart. We're going to talk about you, because that's the way you move forward in the journey anyway. So these are the cards that I use in those North Node readings. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the hero's journey, because let's face it, the twin flame journey is molded after the hero's journey, right? There's challenges, there's obstacles, right? If you think about Homer's The Odyssey and Odysseus and what he went through, he had to encounter the Cyclops, right? The monsters. He had to encounter the sirens who tried to lure him and his men away and off the boat into their deaths, and some of them did die. Many of his men died, and he ended up coming back, and he ended up back home. So he did a full circle, and he ended back home with the elixir. And the elixir is all the knowledge gained, the gifts of this journey. And I know many of you are like, what fucking gifts? This is hell. Like, I don't want to be on this journey. Some of you have even told us in readings this week, not only do I not want to be on this journey, but I wish that wasn't my twin flame. I wish that you had told me that wasn't my twin flame. So there's definitely some energy here where it's like, I don't even know how I feel about this. So we want to honor that, and we also want to really look into what's going on. So the first card to come out here is For This You Were Born. So this is for the divine feminines who are struggling right now. Foster your intention for incarnating in this dimension. So this has to do with, you came here to be the light. You came here to affect change, to create change. You came here as a starseed, or as a light worker, as a twin flame, or all of the above, or as an incarnated angel, perhaps, to spread the light, to see the light, to be the light. But oftentimes, you know, this planet has been clouded and shrouded in darkness for so long. And then you meet your counterpart, and then that person is stuck in the dark or stuck in their own, you know, kind of recesses of their own soul. And they haven't been able to pull themselves out of the matrix of the 3D. And many people haven't yet, but many people are, and many people have. And so what we're seeing is this energy, where the feminine gets discouraged. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're in the stage where the feminine feels very discouraged and it's like, I don't think this is why I came here. I can't believe that my soul would choose such a challenging journey where I meet someone who I feel is the love of my life, and then, you know, there's lies, or there's, you know, manipulation, or something doesn't work out, or something is in the way, or they choose somebody else, or there's a karmic partner, and it's like, why would I be put through this hell? Haven't I been through enough already? So when I see this card and we're dealing with the kind of energies that we're dealing with right now, which is kind of funky, to be honest, I want you guys to understand that whatever we've got planned for this lifetime, we sort of have to release that. We're in the process of releasing. We're in the process of freeing ourselves up from expectations. And when we do that, you know, I was just talking to my kindred this morning. We were talking, and I was telling him, it's like we both are trying to figure out why we are where we are right now. And it's like you have to accept and you have to surrender, because you incarnated at this time in this earthly dimension. You could have incarnated in many other dimensions that were a lot easier. This is the most challenging dimension that you could incarnate in my opinion, anyway. And you have to be willing to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to take risks. You have to be willing to accept that this is where you are for a reason, that there's a purpose for this, and that you're alive and there's infinite possibilities right now for you on this journey. You volunteered to come here at this time. You raised your hand and you said, me, like, choose me. I will do this. I will partake in this. I will be on the twin flame journey, and I will come back to Earth at the most challenging time in the history of Earth. Remember that there's soul family all around you guys. Just remember who you are. You know, that's what I'm feeling. Remember who you are. You are at one with the universe. This is that concept of oneness, that you're not alone on this journey. And they want you to stop playing small, okay? So the guides, your light team is saying your charge is to enlarge. So your charge is to, because this is like the belly of the whale part of the journey. And this is exactly where the feminine is at right now. And the masculine's sort of at this place where he's just, la, 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 la. I got off the journey. I'm so clever. Do, 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 do. And the feminine's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I've been struggling. I've been going through so much. And you're just sitting there like having the time of your life. But he's not having the time of his life, guys. Trust me. I've had to kind of turn off or tune out of the masculine energy here. The masculines are struggling and they're trying to cover it up again. They may have gone back to addictions temporarily. They may have gone back to karmic influences and energies. The unhealed parts of people is going to become more and more apparent. So as we move forward, that's what we're going to see is people who are unhealed. It's going to be very, very apparent and visible moving forward here. So if the masculine comes back and they're still unhealed, you're going to know immediately. You're going to know by a text message. You're not even going to need to see them or talk to them on the phone. You're going to know by a text message. It's going to be an instant turn off or an instant turn on. You're going to know immediately if they're prepared to come back into communication or not. You know, if they're on the same level that you are. So even though this is like a dark night of the soul for some of you, who I would call second wavers who are coming in right now, this is not, forget the label. Don't compare. It doesn't matter first wave, second wave, third wave. The first wavers, you know, we've been through hell to pave the way. And so we're seeing a very different energy here with the second wavers, almost like I just want to bypass this part of the journey. I just don't want to do this. And I can't, it's very widespread at this time. I can't stress that enough. But when you think about the whale and you think about the beauty and the wisdom, the loving energy of this ancient being, I want you guys to think about your own sovereignty, your own wildness, your own freedom. And, you know, yes, we're on this planet Earth, but you're a sovereign being. And look what just happened yesterday. They finally lifted the ban of having to wear, you know what, to be very careful with how I say things, but when you're traveling, it's like, seriously, has it taken this long? There are people who are pissed about it. Let them be pissed and let them continue wearing whatever they want to wear. But the rest of us are going to walk in freedom. The rest of us are going to enjoy our freedom and breathing, enjoy breathing clean air. And we are going to continue fighting the good fight because it's what we came here for. It's what our souls signed up for. And you know, they're trying to imprison us. They're trying to enslave us, and we're fighting back with all our might, and we will continue fighting back because it's who we are and it's what we came here for. So remember who you are right now, guys. There's so much more to this journey than just the journey of the twin. I want you guys to understand, like, there's so much more going on here than what meets the eye. And then, you know, whatever you see on Google, which is like, oh, twin flames, romance. And, oh, you've met your twin flame if you're like in this romantic bubble. It's like, oh, that's not the twin flame journey. That is not the twin flame journey. It is not a soulmate journey. And it's not going to be just perfect and loving. And it's not going to be a straight line. It's going to be more of a zigzag and a back and forth and an in and out. So one of the energies right now that's coming in is wind. So I don't know if you guys can feel the shift in the energy today, but I woke up being pain-free. I've been in chronic pain for at least a decade, really exasperated after a situation with the last karmic that I'll ever date, which was almost 6 years ago. And so that energy, you know, as it's lifted as of today. So today feels very different than the last even 2 weeks, you know, the first 2 weeks of April, or the last, I don't know, God, 4 or 5 months. But there's a difference in the air today where you might be feeling lighter. You might be feeling mentally more clear. You might just be feeling good and you might be feeling a lot of joy and a lot of freedom and a lot of space. So I want to honor that energy because it's a very beautiful energy. And it's one that definitely is necessary at this time. It's going to activate change. So whenever I see wind or the element of air, I think something is moving, something that needs to move, energy, stale energy or stagnant energy that needs to move, mindsets that we're holding on to, especially a lot of this, like, I'm bored of this journey, or I'm done with this journey, or I don't want to be on this journey. That's going to shift. So if you felt lethargic, if you felt exhausted, if you felt that, you know, just bored or just fed up with this journey in general, do something today to shift that energy. Go for a walk outside, okay? Find a spot in nature. Find a place where, you know, nature can provide for you. Listen to music that's calming. Release the tension and stress from your mind and from your body, from your avatar. And listen to music, whether it's the sound of, you know, nature and birds singing outside, or the sound of the wind, or the sound of the ocean, and let it spark the pleasure centers in your brain. Let it activate something within you, because something is about to shift, and it's gonna shift before this weekend, guys. So don't be surprised if all of a sudden your mindset shifts drastically. Those of you who are like, fuck this journey, I want off this journey, I don't want to be on this journey, this isn't fair, or have been in victim mindset, or just annoyed or angry, that's going to shift, and you're going to be feeling very differently about this journey come this weekend. There also might be, for some of you, just the need for like a hug, just the need for physical touch, and the need for some sort of intimacy. But it is the time to take action. So I would say take some sort of action this week, today and moving forward, where you let your physical body actually move and be active. So just movement alone will shift energy. It will help you get over that hill, that wherever space you're in right now that you need to kind of shift out of, you're going to be assisted with that. You might find digestion a little slow or a little off today. It's the one thing that I've noticed. But mentally, you should be feeling more clear. Remember, this is a collective reading, so it's not going to be everyone. Okay. Just real quickly, I'm not going to do a major tapping into the masculine energy because I'm not called to do so right now, and I don't think people really care right now. The feminines are just pretty fed up. But we do have DNA karma, and it's funny because you guys saw me. I was shuffling, and I said, no, let me shuffle a little bit more to get the correct cards. This card came out twice, so I put it back in, and it came out. So stone people vigilance, you know, that's a card that I often struggle with because the divine masculine, they might look like they don't care right now. They might look like they don't give a damn, like literally, like they might appear and feel like stone, even energetically, where it's like they're not shifting, they're not moving. Meanwhile, the feminines over here are being activated, and the feminine's like, well, what the hell? They're dealing with some karma, some pretty heavy shit right now. And again, they're trying to suppress it. They're like, I got off this journey. They're skipping along on their merry way, and they're whistling as they go. But they're gonna be knocked down. There's some ego afoot right now that is, they're trying to sort of escape whatever this karma is. So whatever they've done to others is going to be done to them, or they're going to experience in some way. Again, you guys have heard me say, it's not because karma is not punishment. It's not an eye for an eye. It's a lesson. It's just an exchange of energy. Much like money. Money is an exchange of energy. I provide you the service or this product and you pay me for it. It's an exchange of energy. So it's like they're being paid, so to speak, for the efforts they've put in, or what goes around comes around. It's like they're experiencing what they've put out there into the universe, okay? If they've been unfaithful, if they've been unkind, if they've been selfish, if they've been narcissistic, if they've been in any way if they've created situations where even if they feel like, oh, I didn't intentionally hurt somebody, if they hurt somebody or they took something or someone for granted, that's all going to show up now for them. And it's something they want to escape. It's not something they want to deal with. And I feel like in the past they may have felt like, or they may have been able to escape, and now the universe is saying, no way, you're at the part of your journey, you're too advanced, you're an advanced soul, we're not going to play this game with you anymore, and we're not going to feed you with a silver spoon in your mouth anymore. It's time for you to it's time for the record to be set straight. So the divine masculine is definitely vigilant at this time. So they're going to be called to really open up to what's around them, open up their senses, open up to what they're feeling, what they're thinking, what is happening around them. And they're having to really tune into their bodies, tune into their minds, because what they've done is they've tried to detach, and the universe is like, oh, no, 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 you don't. No, you don't, divine masculine. So wherever they've had conditioned responses to life or like detached thoughts, they're going to be forced to deal with those thoughts, to deal with the ways in which they've sort of handled life, and especially the ways in which they've assessed this journey, or labeled this journey, or what they've, like the way in which they've handled you, especially when it comes to running from themselves or running from their fears. They're going to be forced to examine the situation with their heart instead of just their minds. So they're going to be asked to detach, and they're going to be asked to really stand tall, but in their truth and in their authenticity. When it comes to the karma aspect of this, there's sort of like the karmic patterns, right? That sort of dictate how we respond, how we react to life, the kind of relationships we choose, et cetera, the choices we make. But as the divine masculine is evolving, because they are still evolving, even if they're trying to kind of stunt their own growth here, as their consciousness expands and they start to embody and embrace more light, come out of the darkness that the masculine energy has been in for quite some time, as I talk about often, they're going to start to make choices. And this is how you shift your karma. You make different choices. Most people don't teach this about karma. So let's say you're like, I want to write my karma. It doesn't necessarily mean paying someone back monetarily. what you can do is you can make a different choice the next time, right? So the next time, let's say you have an opportunity to leave a big tip, or you have to pay someone back. Maybe you pay somebody back more than what you owe them for no reason other than you're balancing the karma, you're doing something kind, you're being generous, okay, out of the goodness of your own heart. And you start to shift and modify that ancestral design that you think that you were born with. So the masculines feel like, I am this person, I'm not going to change, especially the masculines who are like, you know, late 40s, 50, etc. And I think they feel like there's no way that like a leopard doesn't change his spots. And it's like, but you're not a leopard, divine masculine. They have to accept that they're part of a collective, and they have to accept that they're on this journey. And it doesn't matter what they label it, but there's going to have to be an acceptance here of choices they've made, of the patterns that they brought into this lifetime with, and if they want to break it or not. And the truth is, yes, the divine masculine has a choice as to whether or not they unite with the feminine, because there's free will, but they don't have a choice as to whether or not they're going to ascend and heal in this lifetime. That's part of the contract. They're going to ascend and heal once they meet you in the flesh. There's an activation. There's a Kundalini activation. It's very frightening for the masculines. It's very scary. They don't know how to seek help. They feel like they're going crazy. They lose their jobs. They lose their savings. Their kids turn on them. Their marriages fall apart. Their lives fall apart. And then, you know, they continue to try to turn to the things that they used to turn to, like addictions or drinking or alcohol, drugs, gambling, or women, or lust, or sex, or men if it's a female divine masculine, or in whatever way in which they can distract themselves from the pain. But it doesn't work. It stops working. And that's why we have the karma card and the vigilance card here. It's like, be vigilant, divine masculine. Be vigilant about your choices, your actions, and the way you're perceiving things, because you're making an impact on your future. You're making an impact. With every decision you make, there's an impact. We have Kali coming in here. Speaking of, she is the ultimate mother, but she's revered and feared at the same time. The reason she's feared is because, look at her. She looks kind of evil. She looks destructive. She is the destroyer. She's the destroyer of the ego. She's a destroyer of things that don't serve. So yeah, when we look at her, we go, oh wow, I don't know, I'm kind of scared of her. I don't think I want to embody her. She's the goddess of destruction, but she's also the goddess of the dissolution of the ego, as I just spoke about, and of ecstasy. You dissolve the ego and you can experience true joy. And you see there how she has the serpent energy. And we've talked about the Kundalini energy. So I think that's why this is coming up. So divine feminine, if you're experiencing the Kundalini rising or the Kundalini being activated, it can often feel like sharp pains in the belly, sharp pains in the heart. Some people say it feels like I'm having a heart attack. It can actually make you feel like you're going crazy, because you start to perceive the world much differently. And you start to come out of this logical, analytical mindset, which many of you are. Many of the second wavers are logical, trying to approach this from a logical standpoint. But you're never going to make sense of this journey from a logical standpoint. You can't analyze this journey to make it make sense. You just can't. So you have to look at this from a higher perspective. And there has to be a willingness to destroy the ego and destroy the need for there to be, like, for everything to make sense. So Kali comes in when you're going through a radical rebirth. We know that we've been through a death or destruction phase. It's card number 13 of the tarot deck. It's the Scorpio energy. We're going through this on the planet as a whole. And what's interesting is we're in the eclipse axis right now. We're in the Taurus and Scorpio eclipse axis. So throughout this year, we're going to have eclipses in both Scorpio and Taurus. And this will go on, I think, for the next year and a half, and the next 18 months or so, and radical shifts on the planet, guys. We're going to see, because Taurus represents the 3D physical plane, and Scorpio represents the 8th house of death and rebirth. And we see that there is going to be a massive death and rebirth happening on this planet, both physically, souls choosing to leave this planet at this time. I'm even noticing that in my inner circle. I just had a friend lose her dear husband suddenly. He was 41 years old and healthy, went to sleep and never woke up. So people's lives are shifting dramatically at this time. And Kali's coming in and saying, don't fear the destruction, you know, allow the destruction. So those of you who are like trying to fight the journey, this is the card for you. You can't fight the twin flame journey. You are on the journey whether you want to be or not. You're only going to cause yourself more pain and more angst and more fear by trying to fight the journey, by thinking that you can somehow get off of the journey. This is a journey of the soul. It's not a journey in the 3D. Your soul is held in another body, and you have to do this with that other body. You have to do this journey together. Whether you do it in the physical or not is entirely up to your soul, but you agreed to do this. You agreed to come here and be split in half. So Kali comes to destroy any disillusions. She brings you face to face with your darkest shadows. What is it that you fear the most? That's going to come up. That's going to arise at this time. And we're seeing this collectively, globally. And she comes from a place of deep love, like the deep great mother, but it often feels like anguish. It feels like pain. It feels like, again, the radical change that shakes your world that you don't want to deal with. Okay, you just don't want to. So I want you guys to understand the mirror, the divine mirror. How is your counterpart in any way avoiding this journey? How is your counterpart avoiding this journey? Can you see how you're also avoiding your own growth? I want you to see, because they will show you where you are in your journey. They will always be that divine mirror for you. So whatever that boundary is between you and your highest self, which is usually what we call the ego, she's going to help destroy that. She's going to help to lower that voice. She's going to help to bring you into that space of your highest self, which is not separate from you, by the way. So she's going to help you experience higher degrees of self-expression, orgasmic energy. So again, if you guys are feeling that sort of high today, it's because Kali is here. She's destroying everything we are not to bring in everything that we truly are. And she's going to help push you out of any comfort zones that you've been stuck in, or cycles that you've been in. You're being deeply, deeply liberated, and you're gaining freedom right now, spiritually, divine feminine. This is a very, very powerful essence and card. So I want you guys to trust the process. I need you guys to trust the process. I need you guys to trust me if you're willing to do so. And I need you to trust that the journey that you're on is real. So I'd like to get a card now for the divine masculine. And then we're going to close out this reading. We're going to close out this reading. It's interesting because we've got a goddess. So goddesses for the twin flames today. And there's Ayurvedic cards in here. There's yoga cards. There's spiritual cards. And then, of course, we have the deities cards. So both of you got the deities cards. Sita is the goddess of devotion, the goddess of loyalty. So we see the divine masculine as learning to be loyal to himself. Be true to thyself and thyself only. Instead of being true to the outer world, wherever he's been inauthentic, okay, wherever he's expressed himself in a way that wasn't aligned with his soul, it's being revealed to him now. We're creating change through the activation here of the wind and that air element coming in to move things along and move things forward. So even when, the divine masculine has really endured a lot and been through a lot of pain and abuse and suffering, neglect, rejection, abandonment, the divine masculine pushes on in the face of adversity. And the divine masculine has endured, in the name of love. Now, because they never forget their true love. They will never forget the divine feminine. They might move forward. They might be in other relationships. They might look like they're moving on, but you reside in their heart space, and nobody can take that place of you. They always come back to you. There's an interesting story with Sita, and the story is that her husband was wrong, and she was told that he died. And there was another man who wanted to take her hand in marriage. And she refused. She kept her loyalty to her husband, to Ram. And when he finally did return, because she knew that he wasn't dead, he didn't believe that she was that loyal. And she said to him, if I'm telling you the truth, I will jump into this fire and I will not be burned. She stepped into the fire untouched, unscathed, unburned. And so she was willing to go to great lengths to prove to her husband that, you know, it's like that eternal flame. And she was willing to go there to prove that I was loyal. I was loyal to you the entire time. And that's very similar. It's like the masculine finding it hard to believe that the feminine has been loyal to him this whole time. But she says, I have been loyal to you this whole time. And because he hasn't been loyal to her necessarily, we know this because their masculine tends to have karmic partners throughout the process as they heal, when they learn lessons, and it's extremely painful for the feminine, and the feminine often just turns on the journey or wants to turn her back on the journey or on her masculine because it's so incredibly painful to be the witness of this. But the masculine understands this is the only woman who's ever been truly loyal to me. So she's made sacrifices, and the masculine now wishes to be the loyal one. He now wishes to present to her his loyalty. So when he comes back, he's going to be serving the divine this time and displaying those selfless acts of devotion and love, and realizing that, you know, she's shown him her loyalty. It's time for him to do the same. So I really feel like when the masculine comes back, they come back a changed man or woman, and they come back from a place of more security in themselves and more honor and more integrity, more self-love, more balance with the inner feminine and inner masculine, more respect for the feminine, and therefore more respect for themselves, more wholeness, and more devotion. So guys, you know, yes, it might look like everything is being torn apart, like the connection is being torn apart with Goddess Kali. But I want you guys to call on your highest selves now, which is not a separate aspect of you, it is you. And I want you to call on the inner union, because you guys are fighting the good fight right now. I mean, these deities are coming in because you're fighting the fight, and because people are out there trying to say that, you know, twin flames aren't real. One of the spiritual teachers I highly regard actually just did a video on that, and myself and other twin flames, true twin flames, were on there defending the label, defending the journey, and saying clearly, if you know you're not on the journey, or you're in denial of the journey. And that's what's happening right now, is a lot of people are trying to deny this journey, and it's causing a lot of chaos for the true twin flames and for the mission that we're here to partake in this planet at this present time. So guys, be really honest with yourselves. It's important to know if you're on the journey. That's why we offer the twin flame checks. It's important to understand why something has transpired the way it has, so that you can forgive, and so that you can move forward and clear your space and bring yourself into that space of freedom, freeing yourself from the disillusions of the journey, of this world, of the ego. I'm sending you guys lots of love today, and we look forward to working with you in greater capacity. Thank you for watching my videos and for your likes and shares and subscribes. They all greatly not only help the channel, but help others who need to see the videos and need to be guided at this time, get the guidance that they so seek. So thank you so much, guys, and I will talk to you soon. Take good care.